First things first, welcome to our session on mean and working backwards. So before I started recording this, kind of, pumped you guys up for a little bit, but let's again make sure we understand exactly what's about to happen in this class. Number one, well, we're going to make sure the easy stays easy. Like I asked before, I'm going to ask it again really quick. How are you guys feeling in terms of, hey, the math term mean or average, is that recognizable to you? Is that something that you've seen before? You've seen before? Right on. It's a lot of yeses. I wish I could in the recording just put the chat feed right there. But yep, got a lot of yeses there. Cool. So beyond that, let's go ahead and ask ourselves, well, how much practice would you say you've gotten with mean? Do you think you've gotten enough practice to the point where you're untouchable with it? You are awesome with it? Do you feel like you could use a little more work? Do you feel like you just know the phrase and you have no idea what's going on? Where are you at right now in terms of your ability to practice with it? Okay, needs work, need a little work, a lot more work. Okay, so the majority here so far are saying that, yeah, we need a little more work. Okay, that's fair. A lot more work. Okay, cool. So we're going to make sure that this becomes easy and stays easy in today's class. Again, we're going to go through that formula, practice that thing a ton of times, and make sure that we are solid. Number two, though, this is why you're here today, this right here, being able to work backwards. So we're going to talk about this in a few moments of what this looks like. But remember that every component, every topic that you're working on, you can work forward and you can work backwards. In some problems, the formula might have you multiply. Sometimes you might need to divide. And so that's what I'm going to show you here in today's class again, just keeping your mind open for every single one of those phases. Going forward, going backwards, and any special cases. Last, well, here's the thing. When it comes to some of these topics, they're pure math. Sometimes they are pure math. And I want to make sure that you are ready to take that English, turn it into math as quickly as possible. That way, you can go ahead and attack it and finish the problem as quickly as possible. Again, hoping that your calculation skills are up to par. But again, we want to be able to identify it, turn English into math, and then tackle the math. So with that, let's dive on in. Anybody here recognize this formula right over here? I'm going to go ahead and grab my pen. The mean or average is equal to the sum of the numbers divided by the number of numbers. Does that look familiar? Good. Let's go ahead and write that down. Please go ahead, write that down. We're going to be referring to this a lot, especially when we start working backwards. So go ahead, write this down. Again, I want you to know this formula, and we are going to practice this as if we know it inside and out. And I'm going to show you that once we're done with today's class, every other topic that you're doing, yeah, there's a formula or a procedure. And as long as you know how it works going forward and backwards, how to plug things in, you're going to be in a really good position. So again, today's key, we're going to be working backwards. That's today's key. So we're going to fill in what we know to find what we don't know. So I'm going to give us another 20 seconds here, another 20 seconds, and then we're going to move forward straight into the first example. It's going to be a quick one. And when you're ready and you have that down already, just type ready in the chat box. Cool. And again, remember, today's Monday. So instead of Monday kicking our butts, we're going to go ahead and kick Monday's butt. It's overtime. So here we go. Let's move forward. All right. So everybody, before we begin this problem, it says, hey, what is the mean average of the following set of numbers? Let's go ahead and talk. If you had to kind of just walk yourself through how to calculate mean, what would you tell yourself in your head? Like without stating the formula exactly, what's the short version that you would give yourself? If I had to calculate the mean or average, what's the short version that you would just say in English? What would you say to do? What are the instructions? So Landa says, add up, then divide by the amount of numbers. Add, then divide. Add all numbers, then divide. Okay, cool. Like this is a good start. That's a great start. Let's be a slightly more specific, still informal, still conversational, but slightly more specific. So something like, and you tell me what you think, add up all the numbers and divide by the amount, or divide by the number of numbers. Just saying it in a sentence is a really good way to add on to that formula, because then the practice is going to come in and all three of those phases are really going to tie in. But you want to give yourself a nice conversational way to talk about it first. Add them all up, divide by by how many there are. Add them all up and divide by how many there are. Something like that. Again, it's up to you. You choose the words. As long as it makes sense, you're cool. But without further ado, let's go and try this out here. All right, so everybody, we're finding the average of this set of numbers. Cool. So what does that mean again? What are we going to do first with the 19, 5, 9, 12, 10, and 5? What are we going to do first? Thank you. We're going to add. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead. There's a couple different ways you can do it. One way, you can go ahead and write them all out like this. 19 plus 5 plus 9 plus 12 plus 10 plus 5. But honestly, one thing that I do recommend is the numbers, they're already written down. You don't need to write them down a second time. My recommendation is just going ahead, straight up writing your fraction, and just at the top, write the sum in there. So we can actually just do that by eyeballing it. If you have a little bit of mental math practice, this can be very, very easy. We can start off and just say, hey, we have 19. If you want to keep going, that's 24, 33, 45, 55, 60. Again, with a little bit of mental math practice, that can be very quick and straightforward, and we can get 60 in that way. Another way that can make this a little easier, again, with a little bit of mental math, is if you want to start by counting the tens places first and then going to the ones. Here's what I mean. I can just say the 19 is just 10 and 9. So I'll say 10, 10, and 10. So that's 30 right there. 10, 10, 10, that's 30. And then I can say 9 and 5 is 14, then 23, 25, and 30. So then I have 30 and 30, and I can make 60. But either way, all I'm saying is pick your poison. Whichever way you want to calculate quickly, do it. Sure, if you still write it by hand, totally fine. But if you have your test coming up, mental math really does save you a lot of time. But nonetheless, we did step one. We added up all the numbers. Boom, we're good. Now, I want you guys to help me out with step two. When it comes to step two, what are we supposed to be dividing by? Don't give me the actual number. Give me the phrase. Like, what are we trying to divide by again? What are we putting underneath? Give me the phrase, not the number. Right. Divide by the number of numbers that there are. Now, that might seem confusing. When you hear the word amount or total or number, we might say, what? The number of numbers that we see, the number of values that we're given. And so in this case, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 numbers. So we would divide by 6. So, hey, no worries. Again, mistakes are going to happen. Mistakes are going to happen. You're totally fine. But so far, everybody, are we good? You add up the grand total up top, and then you divide by the amount of numbers you have. Right? Feels straightforward, right? You guys know me. I want to start it off nice and slow, and then once we get to the backwards, you'll see how crucial knowing this really is. But here we go. We're at the hardest part of the problem. Everybody, we have 60 divided by 6. Now, look, I only have a 3rd grade education. I'm probably lying. So help me out. What's 60 divided by 6? Yep, it's going to be 10. Nice and easy. So cool. We're good. 60 divided by 6, that's going to be 10. And there is your average. So with that said, on a scale of 1 to 10, no pun intended, how much sense does this make? Cool. I'm glad. Now, again, remember, your ability or your potential for success, I would say, really depends on your ability to set a solid foundation. This is our foundation. This formula is the foundation. Add up all the numbers and divide by the number of numbers you have. That's going to equal your average. Let me go ahead and point this out to you one more time. I'm doing this on purpose. Right here, we have our total. And if everybody wants to go ahead and copy what I'm showing right here, if you want to copy what I'm showing, please do. Let me just move this down to give you a better opportunity. So there's your total. There's your number of numbers or values, either way you want to say it. And then 10 is going to be the average. So my party people, before we continue, my question is this. When you see that you have to work backwards, so for example, finding one of the numbers, do you see where you would plug in your average if they gave it to you? If they start you off with giving you the average and finding one of the numbers, do you see that you would plug it in by itself on that side of the equation? Cool. I want you to notice that very, very carefully, because once we start working backwards, this is going to be so easy if you hold on to this image right here. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. But we're going to try this one, and I'm going to let you try it on your own. So take these numbers here. I want to see if you can work under pressure and calculate. And if you feel any types of nervous about being timed and finding the average here, then I really, really want to caution you about practicing your mental math. Go ahead and take a minute and a half here, do the mean, and then we'll reconvene in a quick moment. Here's your timer. That way you know how much time you have left. And I'll go ahead and push this timer. 3, 2, 1. It's starting with an extra 5-second buffer. And when you're ready, just type ready in the chat box. Don't give me the answer. Just type ready. That's all I want to see. You still got time. Again, trust yourself. Trust yourself to calculate quickly. Sounds good, Luke. Trust yourself to calculate quickly. Do what you got to do. You know, and if me just speaking in the background makes you nervous, again, that still might be an indicator that we definitely want to work on our skills, our speed in calculating, perhaps even mental math. Definitely want to work on that. We're going to release our answers here in about 20 seconds. So hold those answers. Thank you guys for being patient. I know we want to go ahead and give those answers out. I know. All right, here we go. 10 seconds left. So feel free to start trickling those answers in. And Luke, for each unit on the ASVAB, do you mean each subject? If you want to go ahead and look at the blog or my website, I have the most up-to-date information for how much time you get per test. If you're asking about arithmetic reasoning, you get about 39 minutes for 16 questions. For arithmetic reasoning, it'd be 39 minutes for 16 questions. Everything else is on the website. Just to make sure it's all up to date. But go ahead, give those averages, everybody. That's going to be 12. Okay. Let's see if we're correct or if we are all hopelessly wrong. Let's find out. So find the mean of the following set of numbers. Again, don't type it out this time. Just kind of say it out loud or in your head. Add them all up. Divide by the number of numbers. That's really what I want to just really start reinforcing these formulas. I don't want you guys putting yourselves in a position just to memorize stuff. I really want you to know how these things work, how to use them. So add them all up, divide by the number of numbers. That's going to give me the average. Let's show it. So here we go. On the top, I'll add them all up. And again, use whichever method you want to use. If you really want to sit here and go 16, 12, add that, then add the 18. Again, I really believe you need to work on your mental math. If you're willing to look at it in a more intuitive way, or just a straight up, you're a calculation killer, sure. 16 plus 12 is 28. 28 plus 18 is 46. 46 plus 17, you see how that might be a little hard to go straight through. So the other way that I said was if you wanted to, you could split it into the tens places and the ones places. Here's how that would look. And you guys tell me if this makes any sort of sense for you. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to write these numbers on the side. But watch this. I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, right there. I wrote 50. Then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and go to the ones places. I have 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 8 is 16, then 23, then 29, then from there, that's 37, then that'll be 44, and then that'll be 46. So I have all of that. 50 plus 46, that seems a lot easier than adding all of these together at the same time. So I have 50 plus 46, and that's 96 total. Yes or no, everybody? Did that hint of mental math make any sort of sense? Cool. And notice how I was able to stay calm, cool, and collected throughout it. I chose to use that strategy, and that's all I did. I just went through the tens places, added all those up. Cool, here you go. That's 50. Then go through all the ones, and that way you're not exactly going about it, writing it by hand, step by step by step. You're doing something that's a little faster, a little more mental, but not as ridiculously hard as just going 16 plus 12, 28, 28 plus 18, 46, 46 plus 17, blah, 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 blah. So again, pick and choose which one you are comfortable with and keep building that comfortability. But regardless, we have 96 as the grand total up top. Everyone, what should we be dividing by? Awesome, I heard that. All right, that's going to be 8. Great, because again, we are dividing by the number of numbers. So we see here that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're dividing by 8. Everyone, 96 divided by 8 is what? Booyah. That's going to be 12. Exactly. And we're good. So one more time, let me just mark everything here for you. You're going to write the total here. You're going to have the number of numbers down here. And then over here, you have your average. Again, just showing it to you straight up, because guess what? The very next slide that we're about to see our first example of working backwards. We're going to see that very, very, very first example. I didn't know that I needed help with division. Okay, cool. Like I'm glad that you're able to admit that and expose that to yourself, because guess what? Once you see that the problem is there, okay, that's the first step. Admitting that you have a problem. And no, I'm not talking about AA meetings. We need to go ahead and then practice the math so we can get better. So here we go. If you're scared, don't worry. I got you. I got you. So let's take a look at this next example here. Oh, wait. Again, let's remind ourselves of the formula. Add them all up. Divide by the total. That's your average. If you're just coming in, take a screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go. All right. So let's take a look at this. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to give you 2.5 minutes to try this problem out. Go ahead. I'm not going to give you any instruction. Just want to see how you fare with it as we begin. So here we go. The timer is starting right now. And it's all good. It's going to come with practice. Retaining the information absolutely does come with a lot of practice. But first, what needs to happen is solidifying your understanding. If you just practice without solidifying the foundation, it's very easy for the information to leak out, and it makes it a lot harder to recuperate. But if you set up that foundation, that first main idea, everything else becomes a lot easier. So give it time. I got you. Keep talking about it. Wow, that is rare. 1 minute in and nobody is ready yet. Okay. What's going on, Angelica? Welcome in. Hey, Jim, and welcome in. Xavier said hi to you. Remy as well. Okay. Cool. I'm lost on the X part. It's all good. Again, if you are confused, no worries. Again, the mistakes, the confusion, we can't avoid those. We can only tackle them. So let's get ready to do that. We still have 55 seconds though, so I still want you to give it your best guess. Give it your best try. See what you can come up with. Okay, still got 30 seconds. Again, no worries if you're stuck. I'm here to help. I got you. All right, so we're looking at our final 3, 2, share those answers. Go ahead. What do you have? And if you're going to take a guess on this one, put a question mark next to your guess. One thing I don't want you to do, I don't want you to look at everybody else's answers and then, say that you think it's this because you saw everybody else do it. Get that out of here. We're not here to do that. Go ahead, give your best guess, see what you got. Put a question mark if it is a guess. I just want to see that you're trying. Like, that's really in the beginning, while we're going through those frustrating moments, what's most important is just trying, really, like being engaged. Okay, cool. So before we get started on this, where's your confidence level on this? Low, fair, high? Where is your confidence right now with this one? Low, high, good, 7, low, confident, fair, 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 low, low, mid, low. Oof, that's a range of emotions if I have seen it before. Okay. I'm driving. I'm sorry, but is that confident? I'm hoping that you're confident about your driving. You need to just listen to me on audio, stop typing, get home safe. All right. So I am not going to be held liable for someone trying to ace the ASVAB in a car crash. Come on now. So here we go. Let's go ahead and have some fun. So here's the thing, everybody. Here is the thing. First and foremost, a really big question is, how do you even know that you're supposed to work backwards, right? Like, how do I expect you, right, to go on test day, go to MEPS, sit down, look at a question just like this one, and be like, oh yeah, this is a mean backwards problem. I know exactly what to do. Like, how can I expect you to do that? Step one is, well, first identifying that this is a mean problem to begin with. Mean as an average, not angry. So take a look here. Let's read through the information. Everyone, first and foremost, what should we always do in any word problem? Yeah, first thing we need to do, read the question. If this is your first class with me, you're going to see that whenever we do word problems, right over here at the top left, you're going to see 3 words printed and highlighted, and it's going to say want, have, and then connection. So what do you want means, what's the question? What's the point of all of this? Step 2, what do we have? What's the information? And then step 3, this is the connection. And this right there, that's step 3. That's the point where you realize, oh, this is working mean and doing it backwards. So again, let's start off with what do we want? When you start off with what you want, you're just going to go right here to the question, and it's going to say, what is the missing number? So if you're confused about this problem with low confidence, does it make sense that the question says, find the missing number, and the missing number is right there? That X right there, that's the missing number. Are we good on that part so far? Does that make sense? Because I promise you guys, the whole problem is not hard. There are parts of the problem that I know you understand, but there are also other parts that we definitely need to review. But let's make sure we identify what we know so we can get to what we don't. But step 1, let's see if we know what we want. Yeah, we know what we want. It's that missing number. Do you know how to get there yet? No, we'll figure it out. Step 2, after we see that we have a list of numbers and we're looking for the missing number in that list, let's see what information we have that's related to that missing number or related to the list. I think that's a fair question to ask, right? What information is related to that? And it comes up very quickly because this question is very short, or the problem, very short. It says right here, What do I have? I'm going to actually do this in blue. It says the set of numbers has a mean of 10. Everybody, is it me or is mean a key word? Yeah, mean is a key word. Everybody, is there a formula attached to the word mean? Is there a formula attached to the word mean? Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's the thing. They explicitly tell us, hey, here's the mean, and here's the list of numbers. Whenever you think that, you want to think the formula. But instead of this time working forward, adding them all up, dividing by however many numbers there are to get the average, we start with the average, and then we got to work backwards to figure out what one of those numbers was. Let me show you how it's done. Let's first go ahead and show the formula. The formula, everybody, let's go ahead. You tell me if this is written correctly. The formula that I'm going to write is going to be the total divided by the number of numbers equals the mean. Is that correctly written, everybody? Yes or no? Okay, great. And again, like I told you, this is a working backwards problem, but we're still using the same old formula. Still using the same old formula. Now, let's understand, everybody, which of those pieces do we have? The total, the number of numbers, the mean. Which one of these do we have? We have the mean. Okay, great. What was that mean again? What did they say the mean was? Okay, the mean was 10. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. The mean was 10. Just going to go ahead and just write an arrow right there. Okay, what other information do we have? Do we have the number of numbers? Do we have the number of numbers? Do we have it? Do we know how many numbers there are? How many? If you're telling me you know how many there are, how many are there? I see some 5s, I see some 4s. Which one is it? Is it 5 or 4? Is it 5 or 4? I want to get your confidence out of this. Come on. Is it 5 or 4? Okay, I love the participation. This is awesome. I love today's class because, yes. So it's going to be 5 because remember, the number of numbers in the list that you're given, yes, there is an X on one of those placeholders. We don't know what one of those numbers are, but it is a number nonetheless. So we have 22, a 2, a 5, a number we don't know, and 9. If we had that number there, we would count it. Our job is to find out what that number is. We still need to count it. Yes or no? Does that make sense? We have 5 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of them, we're going to find out what it is. Are we good on that so far? Good. Sounds great. So with that said, right over here, we have 5 numbers. 5 numbers. Let's go ahead and highlight that. And then lastly, the one thing we're missing here is the total. Okay. So this is the point in the day where I'm going to basically give you 2 ways to do this. Because if the explanation, it shouldn't be, but let's suppose that the explanation that I'm going to give you is any sort of confusing. I'm going to give you a cop-out. Has anybody ever used the answer choices to their advantage on a practice test or the real thing? Has anybody ever used the answer choices to get the right answer? It's happened before, right? It can always happen. Because if you understand the concept, then you understand what the answers mean. Here's how you can use the answer choices to get the correct answer. The answer choices represent the missing number. The answer choices represent that missing number. So if we go ahead and take a look at the choices and we start off, let's say, with a 7, and we replace X with 7 and we find the mean, what number should we get? One more time. If we pretended that 7 was the answer and we plugged it in and we found the mean, what number should we get for the mean then if we calculate? Exactly. We should get 10. we should, in theory, get 10. That's how you'll know you have the right number. So let's say we're panicking on the test. This is the only thing we think we can do. Let's see what happens. And then I'm going to show you how useful this backwards method is going to be because of it. So I'm going to go over here. Let's pretend it's 7. Let me use a purple highlight for 7. Let's try it out. So we have 22 plus 5 22 plus 2 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 all over 5. Everyone, let's count it out. 22 plus 2 is 24. 24 plus 5 is 29. 29 plus 7 is 36. 36 plus 9 is 45. 45 divided by 5 is what? We have 45 divided by 5, and that's going to be what? That's going to be 9. Okay, so if we get 9, then is that the correct answer? Is that the correct answer, everybody? No, it's not. Yes or no, do we understand what's going on here? Do we understand how we're using the answer choices to help ourselves out a little bit? We plug it in, we see if it works. Because you see, this right here, that is not the mean. Should be 10. Should the mean should be 10. It's 9. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. So yeah, you can, Jared. This is one way to do it. This is, I would say, the slow way to do it. I'm going to show you, hopefully, what looks to be a much faster way. But cool, sounds good. So here, if we're using the choices, 7 is incorrect. So I went ahead, did all that work for nothing. A is not the answer. Let's go ahead and try out B. Let's see if B is going to be the right answer. So I'll go ahead, erase all this work that I just did, put it over there. I'll use a different color here. I'll use blue for B, 10. Let's try it out. So here we go. We got 22 plus 2 plus 5 plus 10 plus 9 all over 5. Let's count it out. 22 plus 2 is 24, plus 5 is 29, plus 10 is 39, 39 plus 9 is 48, and then we have 48 divided by 5. We don't even need to do all the work here. Everybody, 48 divided by 5, is that going to be a perfect 10? No, not going to be a perfect 10. Everybody, what number does it need to add up to for us to have 10 as the average? What number does all of this need to add up to? What number should this be right here? The 48 should be a 48. It should be a 50. It should be a 50. If we had 50 up here, 50 divided by 5 is 10. So with that said, we're just 2 numbers off. If we try 12, I'm pretty sure that's going to work. Let's go ahead. Let's plug it in. Got nothing else to do today, right? So let's go ahead and try it out. Try out that 12. We got 22 plus 2 plus 5 plus 12 plus 9. Divide that by 5. Let's see what happens. 22 plus 2 is 24, plus 5 is 29. 29 plus 12 is 41. 41 plus 9, that's 50. 50 divided by 5, what is that, everybody? Yeah, boom. That's it right there. 12 works, and that's why 12 is the correct answer. So when we're practicing, we should be absolutely proud of getting the right answer, for sure. But did anybody here feel like that took a little bit too long? Good. Okay. So I'm glad that we're excited, right? I'm glad that we're excited about getting it right. But remember, when it comes to the ASVAB, we're being timed. And so every moment matters. So let's see what we can do to make each moment count just a little more. Okay? So let's see what we do. And it's really going to come down to noticing what I said earlier. Let me copy and paste this so I have a new page here. I did not mean to do that. There we go. So I want you to see what I ended up doing here. Everybody, let me now go ahead and delete all of this and bring this back to the forefront. Everybody, just take a look here. The mean was 10. We had to divide by 5. So we had to divide whatever this total was by 5 to get 10. Look at this, everybody. Just take a look. Take a look. Take a look. Let me write this out with what we have. We have the total up top. We have the 5 on the bottom. And we have the 10 on the other side. This we set this up at the very beginning of the problem. This is one of the first things we did. My party people, if we're doing basic solving equations, again, to solve an equation, you got to work backwards. Opposite operation. Do the same thing to both sides, right? What would we need to do to both sides to get the total by itself? We need to multiply both sides by 5. Again, I'm just showing you a basic situation of solving an equation. If I want to get the total by itself, I got to get that 5 out of the way. If I'm dividing by 5, well, I got to do the opposite. The opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. And so right over here, my party people, man, let's go. We're going to multiply by 5 on both sides. That's going to cancel this out on the left. And it's going to say that the total equals what? The total is supposed to be 50. The total is supposed to be 50. And for the person who asked, hey, how did I get 5? It's because there are 5 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hopefully that makes sense. But here we go. Once you did that one quick step, now you know the total needs to be 50. So when you go ahead and just take a look at the numbers you have, well, guess what, my party people? Let's add up what we got. We got our X right over here. And then what else do we have? We got ourselves 22 plus 2. Let me use a different color here. 22 plus 2, that's 24. Plus 5, that's 29. 29 plus 9, that is 38. So we have ourselves over here, X plus 38 is supposed to equal the total, right? That's all the numbers added up. That's supposed to be the total. And what's that total again? 50. So you can look at this problem just like this. Some number plus 38, that's supposed to be 50. So you can either just take a look at it and just say, hey, they add up to 38. I need 12 more to get to 50, to get to the number I need. And then you can do the math and say, hey, well, 50 minus 38, what's that going to be, everybody? What's 50 minus 38? That's going to give us that 12. So again, there's 2 ways to do it. They're both guaranteed. One way takes a lot longer, but it's a lot safer in terms of, hey, don't really need to do all this hoo-ha working backwards. But if you take the extra 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes to learn the formula forward, to see how it works backwards, to see what you need in which piece, this is going to be a time saver for you as you go forward. Who here sees that? Who here sees that knowing this is going to be a huge time saver moving forward? Nice. I got to tell you guys, I'm really loving how engaged you are today, guys. Love this. I love this. So again, all we need to do here to solve it is just subtract the 38. If you want to do it pure math, you would just subtract the 38 on both sides. And that's going to give you X equals 12. But long story short, if you're working backwards, well then guess what? All you're doing is, hey, find what the total is supposed to be and then see what the missing number is going to be to make up that total. And the way that you can find out what the total is if you set up your formula, plug in the numbers you have. The mean they told you was 10. You had 5 numbers. Well, guess what? If you want to get that total by itself, get rid of that denominator. Multiply it on both sides, and boom, you got your total very quickly. Once you have that, game on. Go ahead and just add those numbers up and see what you got left. Right on. Let me look at these comments. Yeah, but sometimes I doubt my calculations. Hey, then boom, that is a point of emphasis for you moving forward. You know, a lot of the times we can point out what we need to work on by just what we hate. Like the moment you find yourself saying, man, I hate this type of math here. Well, then guess what? You need to work on type of math here. Be your own therapist. Like you can do this. So with that, I'm glad that you guys are seeing how this works. I'm glad that you agree with me, Nayeli. Let's go ahead. I want to ask you guys if you are ready to try this out on your own. Okay. Any questions before we move forward? Any questions before we get to the good old fun? All right, let's try it out here. Let's taste the ASVAB. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes per question. I'm going to give you 2 full minutes per question. Now, let me be very clear, especially to those of you who are taking the time out of your Monday night for the first time to be with me here. I am not expecting you to finish every single problem in 2 minutes flat and be confident and be done and be correct and be whoopsie daisy. No, I understand that there's a learning curve, and I definitely understand that mistakes are going to be made. All I'm doing by setting a 2-minute timer is setting a timer so that way we can keep the class flowing. If you're not done in 2 minutes, that's totally fine. But I do want you to take a mental note of where you were at the 2-minute mark. Were you still understanding what you were looking for in terms of the question? Were you still having trouble setting up your information? Were you having trouble remembering the formula or doing the math? Where were you when the timer ended? And if you get done early, here's another word of advice. Don't get cocky. Walk yourself through the problem mentally or verbally and talk about it step by step. Because I guarantee you, I've been teaching for quite a long time. I got a master's degree in this. The better you can talk about the math you're doing, the better it'll be committed to memory. Again, the better you can talk about it, the better it gets committed to memory. So take the extra time every second that you have to reinforce what you're learning and ultimately raise your score bit by bit. Okay? Everybody, are you ready? All right, sounds good. So let's go ahead. Let me let this party person in here. Let me get my timer. Let me set it up for you. I'll get my face out of the way. That way you can focus. And let me set this down to 2 minutes and 3 seconds just to give you a little bit of a buffer. So here we go, my party people. 3, 2, and 1. And again, type ready when you're ready. Don't reveal your answers. And 2, 1, and that is time. All right. And again, if you're taking a guess, put a question mark next to your answer. I don't want you depending on the answer choices of everyone around you. Just go ahead, take a guess if you're going to take a guess. Just put that question mark next to it. Totally fine. Totally fine. So, okay. So before we begin, how did you feel about this one? Was this one easy, fair, hard to you? Where would you rank this one as things stand? Fair, Easy, medium, a couple more easies, fair, easy, medium, easy, fair, easy now. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and try it out. Let's see what we can muster up. All right, everyone, first things first, every word problem, we begin by reading the question. So, can you tell me in a phrase or in a word, what is it that we're looking for in this problem? What is it that we're looking for in this problem? Exactly. I'm glad that we can be really in a consensus here. Yeah, we're looking for the missing number. Just keep things simple, guys. Keep it simple in plain old English as you understand it. I'm just looking for the missing number. I don't know if this is an average problem yet. Heck, this could be a geometry problem. This could be a distance rate time problem. I don't know yet. But starting with the question, it just says, hey, we're looking for the missing number. What is the missing number? And that is right there. A. Okay. Now, everyone, in terms of the information that they give us, what do we know about that missing number or the list that it belongs in? What do we know about that missing number? What are we told about that missing number or the list that it's in? What do we know? Jesse says the mean is 9. We have the number of numbers and we have the average, Landa. Gemma says we have the mean and the number of numbers. It makes the average 9, Farah. So yeah, you guys are all correct. All of us are correct so far. Those who are sharing, we're saying, hey, the following set of 6 numbers. Okay, so they even tell us how many numbers there are. Even though we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we can count, well, just to confirm. And then it says has an average of 9. Okay, can everybody, pop quiz time, write the formula for finding mean? Write it out as specifically as you can in the way that you know it. Please, pop quiz time. You got 15 seconds. 15, 20 seconds. Go ahead, type it out. What is the formula for finding mean? Let's see if you can do it from memory. Don't look at your notebook. Try not to. See if you can write it out. The sum divided by the amount equals the mean. The sum divided by the numbers equals the mean. The total divided by the number of numbers. Cool. And we'll keep working on being able to dish this out automatically. But yes, it's going to be the short way that I would put it would be the total divided by the number of numbers I'll move this to the side over here, equals our mean. So let's plug in what we have, everybody. What we have is this. We have the number of numbers. Hit me in the chat box. What's the number of numbers? Right, that's going to be 6. And then what's the mean? What did they give us, everybody? The average, the mean is 9. So for those of us that were a little confused about that, let me write this for you at the top of the screen. Mean is the same as average. Just wanted to make sure. I know most of us know that, but for the few of us that haven't had that much practice yet, and you didn't know that, mean and average, they're synonymous. So if they say average, that's a keyword for mean. So there we have it. The total divided by 6 is supposed to equal 9. Everyone, what does the total have to be then? What does the total have to be? Yeah, the total has to be 54. If you're taking some number and you're dividing it by 6 and you're going to get 9, you have to be dividing 54 by 6 to get 9. And if you want to confirm it algebraically, sure, we'll go ahead and do it algebraically. We can multiply both sides by 6. And that's going to give us, right over here, cancels out. Our total needs to be 54. So that's when we take a look at the numbers as we have them, and we'll say, okay, we need to have this group of numbers add up to 54. Okay, sounds good, coach. Let me just go ahead and write the A right over here. And then let me write out the rest of the numbers that I have, because I'm going to have 11 plus 9, that's 20. 20 plus 9 is 29. 29 plus 6 is 35. 35 plus 17, if you're afraid of that, just do 35 plus 10, 45, then add the 7. 52. So you don't have to add by the 17 all at once. Again, you can go 35 plus 10 is 45 plus 7, 52. Break it down into two easier numbers instead of one ugly, intimidating number. Again, that's a little bit of mental math. Again, if you're in the program, you know that we spend quite a bit of time going over the mental math part of it to make your life so much easier. If you're in the program, please don't skip the math basics. It's for your own good. So we have 52 so far at the total. Everyone, what does, I'm not going to do red there. Let me use lavender here or blue. We have 52. What does A have to be to make 54? Right. It has to be 2. It has to be 2. So if this is supposed to equal 54, we could, if we wanted to show it, we don't really have to, but I will. We can go ahead and subtract it from both sides. And boom, that's going to give us A equals 2. So that missing number is going to be 2. And if we plug 2 back in, best believe when we did all the math, we'll get that 54 divided by 6 will give you 9. And there we go. And there we have it. Everybody, is this getting a little bit easier for you? Is this getting easier for you? Are you seeing the avenue, the path to making this a lock for you on the ASVAB? This is exactly how I did it. I'm so proud of my little backwards brain. My backwards brain. For some reason, that's funny. And don't worry if we're not totally there yet, because obviously, with all things that we're learning, we need practice, right? We need a safe environment to really tune out those mistakes, see what we can get better at, what we need to improve on. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, split and glue definitely helps. And if we're still plugging in the answers and you feel like you are going to be saving the most time doing that at the time, sure. But now that you know this technique, I would definitely suggest practicing this through and through. Because if we get to the point where we're really good at this, we can do this mentally. We can do this mentally. Because if I'm looking at this for the first time, I would be looking at it like this. As your coach, if I looked at a problem like this, I would say, okay, find the missing number. Okay, that's A, list, average of 9. So this averages to 9, and we have 6 numbers. So 9 times 6, 54. Let's go ahead and see how close we are to 54. Okay, 20, 29, 35, 52, 2 away, done. And that's legitimately how I would look at this problem. That's legitimately how any one of you would look at the problem after you've done this for the 50th, 60th time with enough practice. Do you believe, yes or no? Like, do you guys honestly believe that you can get to that point where you can just look at it and be like, okay, average is 9, you got 6 numbers, looking for the missing number, multiply these 2, 54, and just see how much you have left. You absolutely can. That's why today, typically we go through all the topics, but today I wanted to set aside just to give you one of those gimme types of questions. Mean working forward and working backwards. Easy points if you get the chance to do this on the ASVAB. Let's go ahead and try it again. Next question. Let's go ahead and practice. If you want to try the mental math out now, go ahead. Timer has started, and I will disappear right now. And we're looking at our final 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, plug those answers in. Put a question mark next to your answer. Again, if it is a guess, put a question mark next to it. It's totally fine, guys. Absolutely fine. So let's get the timer out of the way. Cool. And let's go ahead and see what we got. So as we go through this for the second time, this is actually the third time being timed. How are you feeling this third time around? Do you feel like it's starting to come together? Do you feel like it's still really difficult? How are we feeling so far? And again, be honest. Be honest. A lot of us saying a lot better, confident, good, feeling okay, feeling great. It's starting to click. It's clicking, coming together now. Good. And again, practice is going to be that intermediary between the unknown and confidence. So let's keep practicing. Slowly but surely, we'll get there. Here we go. Step 1, again, treat this like a brand new problem. Don't get into the mode of memorizing. Let's first make sure that we're looking for a missing number. And it says it. Yeah, it does. What is the missing number? And we see that that missing number is in a list. Okay. So typically, they're going to have to give you some information about the missing number or, again, the list that it's in. And again, they do that. It says the following set of 8 numbers has an average of 13. What is the missing number? Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So the following set of 8 numbers is an average of 13. What's the missing number? We have the missing number right there. That's B. Sweet. So can everybody go ahead and remind me the formula one more time? What's the formula again? And I got you, Jared. That's it. It's going to take work. It's going to take work. But go ahead, everybody. Give me that formula right there in the chat box. What are we saying in our heads when we say, oh, there's mean involved, find the missing number, or find the mean? What's going to pop up in your head? Total divided by the number of numbers equals mean. The mean equals the total divided by the number of numbers. Yes, yes, yes. The sum divided by the total. No, be careful there, because total might be mistaken for adding them all up again. Yeah, to be safe, I would just keep it to total divided by number of numbers equals the mean, or something that closely or literally says that. But yeah, so there we are. Okay, cool. Total divided by the number of numbers equals our mean. And let's go ahead and see what we're going to write down. Everybody, we can find the total if we had the missing number. So we'll leave that as is for now. The number of numbers, how many numbers do we have? We have 8. So we'll just say, hey, our total divided by 8, because again, we have 8 numbers. That's supposed to give us what? When we divide our total by 8, when we run through the formula, we're allegedly supposed to get 13. Exactly. Allegedly, we're supposed to get 13. So next step. What are we going to do next, everybody? What is my next step? Be specific. If you're in my program, I expect you to say this the right way. Olivia, thank you. Almost had an aneurysm. Yeah, multiply both sides by 8. I do not want you to say multiply 13 by 8, because that means that you are forgetting the principles of solving equations the right way, and I don't want you to forget. I don't want you to forget. So here we go. Let's go ahead, pick up the speed here. Let's multiply both sides by 8. Again, the reason we're doing this is to get rid of everything around the total. I just want to get that total by itself because my total includes that missing number. I'm trying to reveal it right there. So we have 13 times 8. I mean, if I've been practicing my times tables, I stopped at 12. Dang, somebody help me out. How do we do 13 times 8? What is that going to be? 104? Yeah. And if you want to do it quickly in your head, instead of actually writing it down, you can think of it like this. Everyone, what's 8 times 12? What's 8 times 12? We know 8 times 12. What's that going to be? Yeah, 8 times 12 is 96. So if we wanted to do 8 times 13, that's just one more 8. Everybody, what's 96 plus 8? Take 96, add 8 to it. Boom, 104. That's 13 times 8. And again, that just takes a simple understanding of what multiplication actually is. 18 or 8 groups of 12, then 8 groups of 13. Just adding one more 8. That's all it is. So there it is. Total is supposed to equal, again, 104. Now, what do we do with this information, everybody? Now that we know the total equals 104, what do we do? What are we supposed to do? Olivia says add up all of the numbers at the top. Okay, what are we supposed to do after that? Gotcha. Then subtract it from 104. That will reveal the missing number. Does everybody agree with Olivia? That wasn't me. That wasn't me speaking. That was Olivia. Olivia says add up all of the numbers up top and then subtract whatever we have from 104. That'll give us the missing number. Cool. Sounds good. So let's show what Olivia is saying. What Olivia is saying is this. We'll take the 18 plus the 20 plus the 9 plus the 7, 5, 12, and 17. We add all of that up along with B. And that's going to give us, again, the 104. So let's go ahead and do our job here. My suggestion, like I said before, as you continue practicing mental math, you'll find the right way to go about it. That's the quickest for you. So what I would do here is I would go ahead and work with those place values. Do the tens place first, then come back and go ahead and do the ones. So watch this. I got 10 plus 20 is 30, 40, 50. So I got 50 with the tens places. Then I'll go ahead and work on the ones place. 8, 17, 24, 29, 31, 38. So right there, we have 50 plus 38. What is that total so far going to be, everybody? 50 plus 38, that's going to be 88. Yeah, that is a lot of numbers. And that's why it's going to be so worth it when we practice to the point where adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing isn't a big deal. Like, that's the last thing that I want. The last thing you should ever want on the ASVAB is to be tripped up on calculation, because you've had all the time from kindergarten until now to practice that. The word problems, yeah, we probably need a lot of help on that, and I'm here for you. But the calculation, we have got to practice. We have all day, every day to do that. So here, that'll be 88 that we have so far. Now, what was the last step again? What did Olivia say? What do we need to do here? Last thing we're going to do, subtract. Right, subtract both sides by 88. Boom. Again, Olivia's the one teaching, not me. So here we go. Subtract 88, and we're set. Now, one way that I like to handle numbers that are close to the hundreds or like the next zero, I can kind of just say, look, this is subtracting. That means take the difference. If I want to go 88 up to 104, well, if I go up 12, that's 100. Up 4, that's 104, so that'll be 16. Or if you wanted to go the classic way, you could always go ahead and say, hey, let me just borrow 1. So then you have 14 minus 8. That's 6. 9 minus 8 is 1. Still gets 16. Either way is fine. Whichever way you want to look at it, totally fine with me. But nonetheless, the answer, the missing number, is going to be B equals 16. And so right there, 16. Question here, I see, it says, hey, please coach the average. How do we find the missing number? Please. So if they don't give you the average, well, then it's not an average problem. Number in a set of numbers, and they don't give you the average. If they give you the median, then you can do work with that. Then you have to know how median works. If they say that the total of all the numbers is something, then yeah, you know how to work with that. If they tell you that all of the numbers multiply to get to this, you know how to work with that because you know how multiplication works. So the answer to that question from me is, if they don't give you average and you're looking for a missing number for a set of numbers, it's not an average problem. There has to be something else. There has to be another clue. Yeah, David. So it sounds like Josephine. So David, the 104 came out because of this. we found out that the total is 104 because we set up our formula. When we set up the formula right over here, look right above me, that formula, you have the total of the numbers, divide by the number of numbers, you get the mean. That list of numbers, everybody, when you incorporate this list of numbers and add it all up, where does it belong? Total, the denominator, the mean, where does it belong? Where does it belong? These list of numbers, when you add them all up, yeah, that belongs in the total. So because we're trying to work backwards, all I'm saying is, hey, if we knew what the total was supposed to be, well, shoot, we're good. Because if I know what the total is supposed to be, I could easily find out what's missing. Like here's an example, everybody. Let me make sure that this is as easy as possible. So suppose I said blank 2, 7, and 1. And then I told you the total between these numbers equals, let's go ahead and say 15. Everybody, what's the missing number? How would you find that? How would you find that? I told you, hey, you got a blank, a missing number, a 2, 7, and a 1. They're all supposed to add up to 15. What's the missing number? Already got an answer, another answer. There we go. 5. And we would understand that by saying, hey, okay, all this is supposed to add up to 15. Let me take everything away. Let me take away what I got. Take away 1, that's 14. Take away 7, that's 7. Take away 2, I'm back at 5. Or you could just say, hey, 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So I could say that this part right here is 10, but it all has to add up to 15. So I need a 5. That's exactly what we're doing there, exactly what we've done here, and exactly what we did there. We found what the total is supposed to be, and then just worked backwards to find that missing number. Does that make a little more sense there? Cool. Because I know that there's going to be plenty of times where I am going to be repeating myself, saying the same thing different ways, but it's for good reason. And I'm hoping that anybody who was confused, even if you do hear me saying it the same way or saying the same words, just pay attention to, again, what I'm pointing to, the steps I'm taking, but more specifically, what I want and how I get there. Because that'll happen plenty of times, even inside of a problem. Kate, I gotcha. So Kate, let's see if we can keep going here. Let's see at what part we can get to before we're confused. And then we'll keep making these adjustments. So try this next one out, my party people. Here's another one. Try it out. Just because we have a lot of numbers doesn't mean it's impossible. Give it a shot. We got 2 minutes here. And I'll walk you through in some ways here. I got you, Jamaica. Timer started. And let me get my face, or I got the timer started. But Kate, just to help you out in getting started, here's what you want to do here. We're looking for the missing number, and you have the average. So write out your formula first and see what you have from the formula. Do you have the mean? Do you know how many numbers there are? Do you know the total? Can you get the total? What do you have? I can tell you right now, you're going to have the mean. So plug in what that number is, if you know what it is. We know how many numbers we have. See if you can find that number and plug it in. If you can't do anything else beyond that, don't worry. I'll help you out in a bit. All right. So go ahead, guys. We still have 1:22. Give it a shot. And my YouTube party people, I absolutely can see you guys in the chat. Typically, I do check more on the Zoom call, but I absolutely will be checking in on YouTube every now and then too. I got y'all. Paulino, yes, this is live. Yeah, if you want to join the class, I'll go ahead and type my phone number into the chat box. That's my phone number. Go ahead and text me. my phone number there. You can get into this class and all the other classes too. I typically do a free class once a week, as you guys see on YouTube. And you can go ahead and register that on my website. My website is right here, duranlearning.com. Feel free to go to that website right there, duranlearning.com, and you'll see that you can sign up for a free class weekly. And you can also get my full program with everything I have that helps you ace the ASVAB. All right, my party people, and time is up. Go ahead. Put a question mark next to your guess. As always, admit that it's a guess if it is one. But let's see what we got going on. All right. So before we begin, is anybody here feeling even more confident than they did before? Is anybody feeling more confused? Is anybody feeling the same? Where are we at? How are we feeling? More confident, less confident, or the same? Hey, Kate, you got 13? Someone might be understanding what's going on. All right. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and see what we got, guys. Let's go. And even if we're not, let's see again. This is a big piece of advice here. Because remember, you're not going to be able to control how quickly you learn it, if it's automatic or not. Instantaneously, not very predictable. But you can control how much progress you make. How? By doing this. Starting off by pointing out how far you can get on your own. Then identifying the point that you get stuck at. Once you identify the point you get stuck at, that's where the growth happens. So let me go ahead and lead through step by step again. Step 1, read the question. Did everybody understand that we are looking at a list of numbers? It says we have a list of numbers here, and we're trying to find the missing value, which is going to be K right here. So step 1, do we understand that we're looking for the missing number in that list? No math yet. We're just looking for that missing number. Cool. Now, step 2. Again, I'm being notice I'm taking the same strategy, same 3 steps, every single problem I do. Because now that I know I understand what I'm looking for, let's get practical. Let's get to the point where we're saying, okay, what information do we have? Do I know what the information means? Do I know what it means? Let's see. It says the following set of numbers has an average value of 11. An average value of 11. My party people, do we identify with that word? Do we understand what that word means? Mean, average value. Do we know the formula? Do we know what that is? Does it make sense to us? Good. And let me just follow up on that by writing again. That average, again, that is the same thing as saying mean. It's the same thing. Same thing. So if we are there and we understood that we're looking for the missing number in the list, and we know that the average number of that list is 11, we can do work with that. Because instead of having been given the numbers, total, then divide to find the mean, we're given the mean, and we're going to work backwards to get the number. So let's see what we got going on, everybody. First, we'll write that formula. The total divided by the number of numbers equals the mean, which is 11. Before we continue, everybody, does that make sense? We would have the total divided by the number of numbers, which they don't tell us how many, but if we read, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. Does everyone agree that we have 9 numbers? Okay, so cool. We'll divide that by 9 numbers. Let me use a similar color to that. 9 right there. And what did they tell us the average value or the mean was? Cool. We got 11. And so if you're sitting here and you're saying, yep, so far so good. Now I'm just going to have a little bit of trouble with the calculations. Totally fine, because you get to work on your calculations through and through. And I'm actually going to show you after the next question, if you're in my program, I'm going to show you where you can go in the program to get a ton of practice with this, with those speed drills. So here we go. Everybody, we know that missing number, it's in here. It's in the total. When you add them all up, it's in there. So let's see what the total is supposed to be. If this is the part you're confused on, remember that the first step here is to find out what the total is going to be. That way, you can take away all the numbers except for the missing number to get the missing number alone. So, everyone, what do we do again to get that total by itself? Booyah. You guys already knew what I was going to say. Exactly. We're going to multiply both sides by the 9 to get it by itself. So here we'll do it. Multiply by 9. Multiply by 9. Cancels out there. Everyone, our total equals what? Total equals 99. Cool. Sounds good. Okay. So now that we're there, everybody, here's what we know. What we know is that if we take all of these numbers, let me actually just write them all out. If we take that K, let me use a different color again. If we take the K plus the 5 plus the 18 plus the 2 plus the 19 plus the 17 plus the 5 plus the 16 plus the 4, the grand total is supposed to be what again? Help me out. The grand total with K included, not with K excluded. With K included, it's all supposed to add up to 99. Right there. We said it. It's supposed to add up to 99. So, where do we go from here? Take all the numbers away. We could do ourselves the favor of adding them all up first. And if we do, 5 plus 18 plus 2 plus 19, all that stuff together, what's everything going to get us without K? Right, it's going to get us 86 without K. So if we add all of this up together, without K, that's going to end up being, again, let me use that same color again. That's going to be K plus 86 equals 99. This was the one step that got me confused. Great. So Marquise, let's go ahead and pay attention here then. This is Marquise, right? I saw your last name. But we have what we have here. It's all supposed to add up to 99, but so far you only have 86. So how do we find out what K is supposed to be? Well, what's the missing number? You could also treat it like an equation and just subtract from both sides. Take 86 away from both sides. If we do that, we get what? Right, we get that 13. And that's the answer. K equals 13. Boom, there we are. And that's C equal to 13. And I'm going to move off to the side so you're going to have a chance to go ahead and screenshot that. Go ahead. Nice. Kate, if that worked out for you, great. But I want you to use that as a stepping stone to understand the backwards method. Because here's the thing, Kate. Notice how the answer here was 13. C. Let's say if the answer was even D, you would have to go through A, plug it in, add it all up, divide. Boom. B, plug it in, add it up, divide. 13, add it up, all divide, done. And that takes a little bit of time, right? It takes a little bit of time. But if we know how to work backwards, we can work quickly to find out what that total is supposed to be, what we currently have, and then we're done. Right on. Cool. I'm glad you see that, Kate. Again, it's the same thing as plugging in, except the backwards of it. What you would do if you didn't know the number instead of having a number. And yeah, we got the 11 because 11 was given to us right over there. Average value of 11. Average value of 11. Yeah, so if we're doing this with a little bit of mental math, again, like I said, the faster way would be, okay, you have your setup here, total divided by 9 equals 11. You get 99 for the total. And then I would just go ahead, do the mental math here, and add this all up. I would always look for convenient situations. This is another technique with mental math. So if this bores you, whatever. But if it doesn't, if you're interested in mental math, another way to look at mental math is looking at convenient numbers, convenient situations. And what I mean by that is this. I'll go ahead and say 18 and 2, that's 20. Then over here, that's 16 and 4, that's 20. So I have myself, okay, 40. Then I can just go ahead and say 5 and 5 is 10, so it's 50. Then that's 69, and then that's 86. And I can jump through that, just kind of just grabbing the numbers that fit together nicely, like Tetris pieces, and you can go forward like that. I don't expect everybody to do that, but that's probably the peak of advanced mental math, where you're actually just looking at all of it and say, okay, I like this, this, and you pick the order that you add it all up in. But again, that's advanced mental math. That's not for the faint of heart. Yeah, that's definitely the advanced method there. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want to give you guys another type of question here. I want to go ahead and look up to right here. Let's go ahead and try this one out. Go ahead. I'm going to give you 2.5 minutes simply because my big old head's in the way first. And second, I want to go ahead and pull something up in the back end here to show you exactly how you would practice this on your own. So the timer has started. Go ahead, give it a shot. Get my face out of the way and go. All right, looking at our final 4, 3, 2, and 1. My party people, go ahead, give those answers, put a question mark next to your answer if you believe your answer is a guess. Anything other than a confident answer, again, want to see a question mark next to it. So, what do we have? What do we have, my party people? What do we have? Okay, so question first. First question is this. Did anybody here freak out looking at all this mumbo jumbo, seeing not a list, but a table, and then, seeing a real life situation, average daily temperature? It's not just, here are the numbers. It's actually, here's the situation, here's the weather like, okay, crap. Anybody freak out? I almost gave up. No, sir, nah. So some of us are slightly Slight typically an ASVAB question. No. Good. Okay, cool. The goal is for you to not freak out when it comes to seeing something like this. We don't want to freak out. We want to stay calm, cool, and collected. And so, everybody, is it true or false that this question here is just an average problem? An average problem is in calculating the average. Yeah, that's all it is. I showed this to you. I presented this to you to see if you can just sort through the information. Because you see here that the question says specifically right here, what was the average daily temperature in degrees Fahrenheit? Everyone, in that red highlight, what's the key word? What is the massive blaring keyword? Find the average. Find the average. Exactly. So even if we looked at this and we were intimidated at first, well, following basic strategy would lead us to a much more comfortable position. And that comfortable position would be, we have to find the average. I've got a list of numbers. All I got to do now is add them all up, divide by how many numbers I see, and I'm good. Yes or no? Is that how you feel right now? Is that how you feel right now? Great. So let's go ahead and put in that work. Let's see what we have. So since we're looking for the average, we're going to say that we're going to take the total, divide that by the number of numbers, and that's going to give me my mean. Okay, so in this situation, everybody, can we find the total, or are we looking for a missing number? Can we find the total, or are we looking for a missing number? Right, we can find the total. This isn't working backwards. This is working forward. We're finding the average. So we get the total, divide by the number of numbers, we'll have the mean. So the only thing that might be intimidating here is, well, coach, I don't want to add up all these numbers. Well, guess what? I don't want to work for a living. Shut up. We're going to go ahead and add these up, and we're going to go ahead and do it confidently and the right way. So stop letting big numbers get in the way of your lazy way. Like, stop that, guys. Let's go. So here we go. 61, 74, 70, 65, 71, First thing I'm going to do is let's just go ahead and split it up into the tens and ones. Let's just do it like that. So 60 plus 70. So I'll just do 6 plus 7, and I'll just put a 0 at the end of everything. So I'll go ahead and just say 60, 70 is 130 or 13, 20, 26. That'll be 33, 40, 44. So that would be 440 so far. And then I will go ahead and grab the ones, and I would say 1, 4, that's 5, 10, 11, 16, 22. So that's 440 plus 22. Everyone, the grand total, what's that going to be? Yeah, the grand total is going to be 462. Everybody, was that bad? Was it that bad that we had to say that we got stuck on that? Like, moving forward, I don't want anybody in this room putting themselves in a position where you know exactly what you need to do, but you got hung up on just adding or dividing or multiplying or subtracting. We don't want to be in a position where that's what hangs you up. Come on, you can't have it. Practice, put in that time. We all have at least 5 minutes a day. So here we go. We have 462. Everyone, how many numbers do we have in that list? That's going to be 7. Sounds great. So boom, we're going to have 7. And so 462 divided by 7, we need to know what that is. Now, if you need to use long division, totally fine. There's no issue with that. No problem with that. Let's go ahead and use it. So here, we'll go ahead and do 7 going into 462. You have to know how to set up your long division. So we'll have 7 going into 4. Can't happen. 7 going into 46. Yeah, we can do that. That's 6 times. 7 times 6 is 42. And then we bring down the remaining 2. Then 7 goes into 42 6 times. So right there, our average or our mean It is 66. Everyone, does that make sense? Was that a pretty harmless problem that was masked with a bunch of words? Was that a pretty harmless problem that was just masked with a bunch of words? So if you lack on long division, Jamaica, you're in the program. So the entirety of the first and second units of the math basics goes over a ton of that. And if you need extra videos or worksheets, just let me know. I'll give you all the practice you need. I got you. Okay. It looks difficult, but it's easy. I got lazy. Need to check my addition. Cool. And we'll get that happening. So go ahead and feel free to take a screenshot of this. And I'm going to show you, before we get into the next question here, I'm going to show you again where to go in the program, if you're in the program, to see how you can practice exactly this on a timer. Cool. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, cool. All right. So let me go ahead and show you guys here my background. Everybody, really quick. Let me go here. Cool. Can everybody see the screen behind me that it says Arithmetic Reasoning Progress Dashboard? Great. So this is, again, your progress dashboard for arithmetic reasoning. You have all the units lined up for you. You have general word problems. You have proportions. I mean, it's all pretty much lined up for you. Unit conversions, percent word problems, distance, rate, time. And we're going to go all the way down to statistics and probability. So when you go into this, here we are, stats and probability. Here's what the course looks like. You can see that on the left here, you have flashcards here to help you learn mean, median, mode, simple probability, compound probability. We have the lessons here for mean, median, and mode. We have worksheets for it. Casual practice, basically practice with video solutions after every problem. On top of that, you have the lesson right here with mean working backwards. It's very likely that I'm going to replace that lesson right there with this class here, this recording. Then we have an extra lesson for it, another casual practice, probability with video solutions. Then we have simple versus compound probability, probability word problems, everything you need. Everything you need is all lined up for you, and that's just one unit. I got it all lined up for you, every single unit. And you get to, again, track your progress. But let's suppose we're doing this one here, and let's say that this is all mean problems, and it's going to be looking like what we just did right now. So look at that. It's all on the website, and you can go ahead and work forward to find the temperature, or actually work backwards to find the temperature on Sunday. And you can also work forward to find the average daily temperature, just like you see there. But the point of this is to go ahead and use this to basically practice. Now, let me show you what the neat part of this is. This is a speed drill, right? You're being timed. You see the top of the screen right there? You got 2 minutes per question. You got to fire off. You got to do it quick. Once you're done, don't worry whether you got a ton of them right or a ton of them wrong. Doesn't matter, because when you're done, all you got to do is click right here, this button that says feedback report. Click it and look at the beauty that happens here. You're going to see the questions that you did. You're going to see the correct answer that was supposed to be gotten. But on top of that, look at the explanation. For every single question, the numbers that you see in the problem are going to be incorporated. So here it's saying, hey, we're trying to find the missing number. Let's set it up exactly like you guys have seen in today's class. You see that we have the table of values. We're looking for that missing number, but we know that that missing number, the total, is going to be 390, all of this, plus that missing Sunday. And then from there, we plug it into the formula, and then we solve. And I show you how to do that for every single problem in the list. So it's all there, guys. I got your back every step of the way. So don't shy away from going into the program, trying these speed drills out, these extra lessons, the worksheets, the casual practice with video solutions. All that is meant to help you build up from wherever you are to a more confident self. So my party people, does that make sense? After today's class, you can definitely go in there, get all the practice that you need. Cool. Sounds good. So let's get back to the action here. Let's go and try a couple more problems out before we head out of today's class. It is 7:48, so it looks like we have time for a solid one more question. Let's go ahead, give it a go. 3, 2, and 1. And if you're interested in the program, let's go ahead and actually give you a different one here. Boom, one with a missing number. So let me get my face out of the way. And again, if you're interested in the program, stay to the end of class. I'll go ahead and show you how to sign up and the full details about it. But the timer starts now. Go. And time is up. How are you feeling about this one? My party people put an answer in, put a question mark next to your answer if it's a guess. Let's see what we got. Okay. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get in here. Let's see what we have, my party people. Get excited, get excited, get excited. Let's see if we can handle an intimidating looking question. So here we go, everybody. What is it that we're looking for? What is it that we're looking for? Right, we're looking for that missing number. But what, more specifically, though, in terms of the word problem, in terms of the story of the problem, what is it that we're looking for? Right, we're looking for the temperature on Sunday. Be specific. Because again, notice how we went from a pure math, just saying, hey, here's a list, find the missing number. There's more context here. We have the list of temperatures, the daily temperatures throughout the week. We're trying to find the missing temperature for Sunday. But everybody, do you see how even though we masked the average or list with context, do you see how it doesn't matter? We can see through that and see that this is just an average or mean problem. Because if you can start seeing through the concept, the context, the story, to see the pure math underneath it, that's a really big indicator that you're starting to learn how to naturally convert English into math. That's a really good sign. So here we are. We have what is the temperature on Sunday? That's what we're looking for, temperature on Sunday. We can clearly see with my big old head out of the way that we have all of these numbers listed, but we don't have Sunday. We got to find Sunday here. So let's go ahead and find it. Here's how we're going to do it. We are told that the average temperature right over here is 65 degrees for the whole week. So we'll divide that by the number of numbers. And then we get the mean. Everyone, go ahead and fill in the formula for me. Number of numbers, what's that going to be? Number of numbers, what is that going to be? Yep, 7 for 7 days in a week. You can also tell if we just add it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 total numbers there. So that's going to be total divided by 7. That's going to give us the mean, which the mean was given to us as 65. So now the next part of the problem is just going to be being able to do the math. Everyone, what are we going to do to both sides from this point? First step, right, multiply both sides by 7. So if we need to go ahead and do this on the side, well, let's see what 65 multiplied by 7 is. 5 times 7, that's going to give us 35. And then 6 times 7, that's going to give us 42. Carry that 3, that's going to give us 45. So we have ourselves 455 as what the total should be. So cool. That's what our total is supposed to equal. Our total is supposed to equal 455, but we need to get rid of all of these numbers to find out what that missing number is. So first, let's go ahead and see what these numbers add up to. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead, using a little bit of mental math, I'll just go ahead and see what we got. So I'll just say 60 and 70, 130, 190, 240, 300, 350. So I got 350 right there for the tens place. And then I'll go ahead and take this in green. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10, 17, 18, 27. So everybody, do we have 377 for what we have so far? Cool. So there we are. We have 377. So we know that Sunday plus 377, that's going to equal the 455. And so this is where you'll subtract both sides by 377, or you can use a little bit of mental math and say, hey, if I want to go down to 400, that'll be 55. Up to 400 from 377, 23. 55 plus 23, that's going to give me what? 78. And there we go. We can find that missing number for Sunday is 78, or again, we can just subtract 377 from both sides. Nice and easy. Doing it by hand, still strong. We get Sunday equals 78 degrees. And there we have it. There we have it. Everybody, again, is this doable? Is this doable? Is this something that with enough practice, you can look at this on the ASVAB by surprise and still be like, that's the hope, okay? That's the goal. I really want you guys to get to that point. And I'm not going to sit here and let y'all trip out over this and make you believe that you don't have to practice. You absolutely need to practice, because if you ever been in the situation where you think that you studied and you saw a video or two and you think you're an expert on it, then when you do a problem, it's like getting slapped in the face and then punched by Mike Tyson. That's because you didn't put in the time to practice. So with that, I want to end class off on a great note. Like, this is one of the better classes I've had all month long. You guys have been A1. And I really want you to continue where we left off. So again, if you're in the program, look forward, go into Unit 12, go through those lessons, go through the worksheets, go through the guided practice, do what you got to do. I'm going to keep adding problems in the program, as you guys know. And on top of that, I'm also building that progress little robot that's going to help me check your progress every step of the way. Things that it'll help me do for you in the program is it'll help me warn you when you're about to go a week or 2 weeks without doing anything. It'll help me warn you when you are skipping ahead and there might be something that you really should go back to. It'll help me see your progress throughout the week, help me congratulate you, keep you motivated and in the right direction. All of these things are coming pretty soon in the program. And again, if you're already in the program, it's an absolutely free update. Do not worry about paying an extra dime, because you guys have supported me every step of the way, and I'm going to support you all the way until you pass. So With that said, my math party people, you guys have been amazing today. If you want to learn more about the program, feel free to stay behind for an extra 2-3 minutes. I'm going to talk about the program, how it works, and how to sign up, and I'll give you a little discount code. And if you are in the program, you are free to go. But if you would like to say something about your experience in the program to anybody here who is considering it, if you're in the program, please share your thoughts, if they're positive, if they're negative. I don't mind. As long as you're giving everybody in here a real look in terms of your experience in the program, I would appreciate that before you go. So again, my program members, you guys are awesome. Feel free to leave a comment, but you guys have a great evening, and I will see you in tomorrow's class where we're going to be doing a wider range of arithmetic reasoning practice test review. So get ready for that, my party people. And then those of you who are interested in the program, I would love to go ahead and just help you out here. So with that, love the comments here. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. It was a great class because of you guys. You guys made it great. Right on. So with that, appreciate you, Fiona. So with that said, again, if you're sitting here and you are interested in the program, but you want to learn a little bit more about how it works, allow me to just kind of go through this just to make sure that first, it's going to work for you. And then number two, you know how it works. And then number three, how to sign up. So let's see if this really is going to help you out. So for those of you that are interested, answer these questions for me quickly. Give me a yes or no. Number one, do you feel like you have test anxiety? Do you feel like, again, just being timed under pressure, that gets to you in any sort of way? Okay. Next question. Do you find yourself blanking out on word problems? Reading the same words, sentences over and over and over again, but you have no idea what to do. No idea what to do. Okay. And sometimes, yep, that works too. Number three, do you find yourself in a position of guessing and hoping for the best a lot of the times? When you take the actual test or a practice test, you always find yourself with a little bit of time, but a lot of problems left, and you get frustrated because you have to guess. Since high school. Wow. And then lastly, do you feel like you're kind of going through this alone? Like there's not really a solid guide or a solid step-by-step plan to get you from wherever you are to that job you want? Do you feel like you're kind of going through this alone? Gotcha. So the thing is, again, it really doesn't have to be that way. But if you're having these problems, then this program is going to work for you flat out. If you follow the plan in the program, it's going to work. It's guaranteed to work. You just have to be willing to put in the time. But everything's going to be lined up for you so you can sit down and just get to work. So on a more positive note, do you feel like this class went well for you and more could work for you? Yes or no? Nice. Now, do you believe that, or do you wish that someone had your back all the way until you passed? Do you think that you could pass if someone like me was texting you every day, Monday through Friday, having more classes like this, seeing your progress right in front of your eyes, getting tracked? And I think that's a big advantage that everyone has here with me, but you don't really have with anybody else. So with that said, again, you can get the ASVAB score you want. Here's my pitch to you. I mean, I've had so many students throughout the past, and these are some of my original students that I always like to put up here. And it doesn't matter who you are. I've had students that have 2 kids, 3 kids. I have new fathers that are trying to provide for their families. I have people graduating from high school who just want to get into that job that they want. I've had every demographic that you can think of. It doesn't matter where you come from. If you have a minute to 10 minutes a day, you can use the program. It works on your schedule, and it's not just about the classes. So let me explain what I mean by that. The program, it's really 3 main phases. The first phase, yeah, you can come to the classes and get all of the recordings, but that's just a very small piece of the pie. It's an awesome piece of the pie, as you've seen, but it's just a very small part. Beyond that, you're going to have access to the back end, all my courses. This is where it gets good, because it's not like you're going to be available for every single class, right? And on top of that, every class doesn't go in order from Math Basics to AR to MK. It doesn't. The program, though, the courses that you get, it takes you through in order one by one. And there's a progress book aligned with it that will pretty much say, hey, you're good to move on. If there's an X, keep working until you get it down. It's that simple. You have the discretion. If you want to skip ahead, you can. But the plan is set for you that if you follow it step by step, guaranteed to pass. So there it is, my party people. You can come to the live classes and see the recordings, but I recommend using the courses to see all those step-by-step solutions. And on top of that, you'll have your progress tracked every step of the way, and you'll be able to text me anytime you need help. I answer Monday through Friday, and I'm your guide all the way until you pass. So it's really a big difference between suffering from test anxiety and keeping it that way, or investing just a little bit of your time and money into something that you know will help you so long as you're able to put in the effort. And that's it. I hope you set up a study plan, the guide, it's all there, and you're good to go. So if this is interesting to you, my party people, well, then take advantage of a nice little discount tonight only. I want to go ahead and show you that we have 3 different plans, monthly, yearly, and lifetime. And you can get a discount on any one of those 3 plans tonight with those discount codes there. So if you're going to be asking, because this is a very popular question, hey, coach, I just want to pass. I want to pass as quickly as possible. Then I would go with the monthly. If you're trying to score as high as you possibly can, I would just go ahead and take the massive discount that's for the year, because you already get 50% off before this discount. And then you're going to go ahead and take an extra 150 off. I would definitely look into that. And if you are looking to pass now and then get promoted later, I would go with the lifetime, especially with that discount code that we have going on. That way you will never have to worry about any part of your enlistment process ever again. You can pass now, get started, and then when you're ready, get that promotion, raise that GT score, or whatever it is you need to do. So with that said, my party people, those are the steps, or those are the coupons. There's your big pitch there. To do it, all you got to do is go to that link, asvab.info/classes, pick a plan, then sign up. I'll go ahead and actually include that information here in the chat box. That way you're all good. Okay, cool. And here it is, right there in the chat box, my party people. And if you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'll go ahead and answer them right away. And I see a first question there. Give me 1 second. Let me post this to YouTube. Boom, right there. There you go, my YouTube party people. And so, yeah, question here. Where are the practice questions located again? So they're going to be located in all of your courses. It just depends on what you want to study. And if you're asking about word knowledge and paragraph comprehension too, yep, we got courses and classes for those too. We also have a general science course as well. So to find the practice questions, all you need to do is go into the courses. When you sign up for the program, you'll see a program checklist. It'll walk you through where to find everything, how it all works, and you're good. Yep, and also with the subscription, yeah. So if you're looking into the subscription, the monthly one, it is a subscription and you can cancel whenever. So you can sign up today, set it up to cancel tomorrow, and it'll only go for a month. And that's it. If you only want a month, that's totally fine. All you got to do is cancel before your next bill date, and you're good. Yep. Yeah, and if you're kicking yourself in the head because you haven't met me sooner, it's all good. Look, you're here now. If you have your test tomorrow or this week or very, very soon, remember that when you take the test is entirely up to you. Your recruiter can say anything and everything they want to try to force you to come in, but ultimately when you take the test, it's up to you. When you're ready is up to you. You know, so many recruiters want to get you through. They want to enlist you because they want their bonuses. I get it. But it's better to take your time. That way you have more control over your career. Now, there's so many students that rush the process when they shouldn't have. And sometimes it could lead to waiting 6 months. The last thing you want to do is wait 6 months to take the test. Trust me. So again, I always caution everybody who is on the fence about taking the test. In terms of taking it right now, I would always caution, wait until you're ready. Hey, David, I appreciate you. I mean, I've been working on my ability to communicate and explain over the last 14 years. So hopefully, you know, in my 12-year career, that's helped me out. Yeah, so great question, iPhone. Yeah, I actually do have an app as well. So the great thing is, if you have my program, then you can go ahead and use my app. It's on the App Store and in Google Play Store. You can download it and log in with your same credentials. But you have to sign up for the program on the website because I'm not giving Apple or Google the money that you guys pay. I would have to charge like 20% more because they take a huge cut. So instead, buy the program on the website, then download my app and log in with your same details, and boom, everything is up there. And also, for those of you that are still here in the program, I'm actually going to be updating the app in the next 2 months because now I can put your progress dashboards in the app as well. It's right now only on the website for your progress dashboards, but soon I'll be able to migrate it to the app, which I'm really excited about it. I have a meeting tomorrow to go ahead and see exactly how we're going to get it done. And no worries, Paulino. Again, do what you can. And do what you can with the money you have. But I can promise you the sooner you get started, the better. So once you do get started, just make sure to read that confirmation email. Go through every little detail that I go through. I try to make it easy, but make sure you go through the checklist. That checklist is honestly make or break for your first couple days, because if you read through it, you're gonna be sprinting really fast, really soon. So just make sure you go through that program checklist, then get started on the math basics, and you're good. Hey, Daniel, I appreciate the sentiment there, man. Thank you. Been working hard on the way that I teach over the past decade, man. I'm glad that I am where I am. It's because of you guys. You guys have constantly given me feedback. You guys have constantly showed up. You've constantly tried your best. And overall, it's made me a better teacher for it. So thank you. Aaron, great question. So how would I do the classes if I have to work most of the week? So here's the thing, Aaron. Let me give you some data here. So right now, I have over 600 active students in my program right now. Notice that in tonight's class, we had a good amount of people. We had about 105 maximum people in the class. So where's everybody else? They're working. They got family commitments, work commitments, extracurricular activities, whatever it is that's going on in their life. It's not going to stop them because in the program, remember, every class is recorded and you have all of those courses online in your account that you can access 24/7. So whenever you have the time to study, that's when you study. It's all there for you, ready to work. Sounds good, Laney. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you in tomorrow's class. All right, Steve. So yeah, if you want to pass now and raise your score later, Steve, best way to go, the lifetime. Especially with the discount code tonight, because you'll see how low the price is compared to other ASVAB tutors. Because other ASVAB tutors are charging like $200 per month. You're going to see when you click my link, that is nowhere near what I charge. I charge a very small amount compared to those crazy prices. And coming from where I come from, I like that. I want to make sure it's accessible. 3 days a week, David. So we have classes 3 days a week. My guarantee is that we do 12 classes per month. So for example, David, let's suppose that this happened a month ago where we took our company break for the year. We took a 1 week break, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to teach those 3 classes. We just move them to the week before or the week after, and boom, you'll still get at least 12 classes every month. What you'll see in July is we actually have 13 classes in July. And even if we take a break on July 4th, hey, we move the class over. So we always have a class, or we always have 12 classes a month. Yep, and you actually are going to have access to over 500 recorded classes. That's all going to be lined up and organized for you in a course. These are great questions, guys. Keep them coming. So I see here, I got a 12 on my ASVAB. I was so down. I literally feel so dumb and feel like I will never accomplish what I want to achieve in jobs in the Marines. It was when I went down to MEPS, but I got background health clearance. Gotcha. I mean, that's tough to be feeling that way. I know how that feels. But remember, it's not impossible. It's just a matter of how much work you need to put in. And I know in the moment, definitely not a good feeling. We've been there, and I've been there more than once in my life. But at the moment, at the time of that feeling, we have to recognize that feeling's temporary, but your ability to make progress, that's forever. You're always going to have that ability. So always look at a situation as, what do I need to do to get on the right track, as opposed to, can't do it. It's too much. We want to get away from that feeling because we always can. We just have to find a way to do it. Yeah, the classes are typically at this time, David, typically at this time, 6 p.m. Eastern time, and they run until 8 p.m. So each class is 2 hours. So tomorrow's class, same time. Wednesday's class with Coach Sheena for English, same time. So great. So far I've seen that a good bit of you have signed up. So congratulations to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10 of you. So congratulations to the 10 of y'all. Please, 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 like I said, make sure to watch that checklist, the program checklist. That page has everything you need. It's laid out very easily. There's a video there too. And then you can get started right away with the math basics. Yeah, and this class is going to be put up first thing tomorrow morning. Yep, by 10 a.m. Cool. Any other questions, guys? Let me know. Again, this really does make the difference between a confident session at MEPS and a nerve-wracking experience all the way through, overthinking everything, and then ultimately having to come and retake it. We don't want that. We definitely don't want that. Malik, I got you. Malik, when you get the chance, reach out to me. Let me know how things are going. I want to make sure that you're still on the right track. I haven't talked to you since last week, I believe. Let me see here. Yeah, Malik, I saw that you logged in. I saw that you've been doing some stuff with the free practice test from last week. Yeah, reach out to me. I want to make sure that you're still heading in the right direction. I got you. Yeah, and everybody, if you have any questions, again, remember that what you're trying to do here is, if you're asking yourself if this is worth it, what you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid these negatives. You're trying to avoid test anxiety, spending too much time on the test, and then retaking the ASVAB. Like, you really want to avoid that. But what you're getting with the program is this: you're getting a reliable resource, affordable help, and a higher score. It's really a big difference. So, if you're feeling like you're just kind of sitting down studying and hoping something sticks, that doesn't work, unfortunately, not as well as having a structured plan that listens to you as a person and sets you up for success. So as always, everybody, I got your back all the way until you pass. And if you have any questions at all, please, 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 please reach out to me. That's my phone number. Please text that phone number. Please text me at 567-698-8867. That is my phone number. Okay. Text me if you have any questions at all. So what's going to happen right now is I'm getting close to logging off for the evening, and I will be back first thing in the morning. So I want to answer any questions that are here before I go, but then I will retreat for the evening, but I'll be back first thing in the morning to answer any questions that you might have. This discount code expires tonight, but I will keep it up until I'll keep it up until 8 a.m. Pacific time, so 11 a.m. Eastern. I'll keep it up until tomorrow morning. That way, if you need to take just a few more moments just to look it over to see if it's going to work for you, or wait for a reply from me, sure, totally fine. So I'm going to answer these questions here. I got y'all. So I see I need to pass the exam now. I don't want to wait 6 months. I have the exam in 15 days. So David, I would absolutely recommend, let me put the instructions back up. I would absolutely recommend rescheduling. Give yourself more time. I promise you, those 2 weeks that you have, the 15 days, you spend that in the program, and you're going to see that with another 2 or 3 weeks after that point, it's very possible that you'll be confident that you're going to get the score that you want. But again, it depends on how much work you're going to put in and if you have the time. Absolutely, David. I appreciate you. And then my party people on YouTube. Any other questions here? I got y'all. Hey, TikTok CJ, I got you. Caden, what's a good resource to use overall for ASVAB questions? So the great thing, Caden, is that, well, with the program, again, you have those classes and recordings. You have the course with everything lined up for you step by step. And then number 3, you have an entire practice test course with all practice test questions for AFQT with step-by-step solutions. So just to show you here in the background what that kind of looks like, I think you'll like it. So let me go ahead and show you here. So let me go ahead and boom, boom. And here's my background. So let me go ahead and kind of show you what this looks like from the homepage. So from the homepage, what you're going to have right over here, I'm going to let it load. Cool. So for the math, your main parts here are going to be the math basics course. Once you finish that, you have an arithmetic reasoning course, again, with everything lined up for you step by step. And then a math knowledge course, again, everything step by step. But if you want to go ahead and go straight to the practice test questions, you have that here too. You'll click on the AFQT practice test, and you can go ahead and take a test. Boom, go through it. And guess what? You'll be able to go through it. And boom, you have 16 questions. You see that you have 39 minutes right up there, just like the ASVAB. You go through it, go through it, go through it, go through it, go through it. All different topics, just like you see there. And once you're done, you submit it, and look at what happens next. You click that little button that says feedback report, and every question that you do, this is a distance, rate, time question. Everything is laid out for you. Next one, oh, an average or a mean question. The solution is written out for you. Okay, what's next? Oh, what's this? A rate problem? Cool, let's figure it out. Okay, today is Saturday. What day will it be 40 days from now? A general word problem. Boom, there it is. Oh, I got to add the solution there. Next up, a circle word problem. Step-by-step solution there. Everything is laid out for you and color-coded in some instances. So again, it's all there for you. And anything you need to practice, you absolutely can. So for example, in the math basics, you can go ahead and practice things from whole numbers to negatives to decimals to fractions. All of it is there. And I show you exactly with that video how to do it step by step, and everything is lined up for you. All you got to do is look at your notes, look at what resources you have, videos, guided practice, everything you need. And also you have speed drills to test yourself out to make sure that you're ready to handle the pressure. So hopefully that makes a little more sense there and gives you a little more insight in terms of how easy it is to start raising your score with it. Yeah, Xander, it's going to be 39 minutes for 16 questions. So you're going to get about 2 minutes and 26 seconds per question. About 2 minutes and 26 seconds. All right, cool. So with that said, I saw the extra, what is it? 1, 2, 3 of you. And the extra 3 of you that just signed up. Congratulations to everybody. So that's be a total of 13 people that have signed up. Great job, guys. So remember, guys, look, go through that program checklist. That's the first thing you want to do. It's a video that I go through how to access everything, how to find everything, class schedule, all of that, and then get started whenever you're ready. And always, again, reach out to me via text if you have any questions at all. You know I got your back. There's my phone number, my party people. Love y'all. Let's keep acing the ASVAB. And if you have any questions, again, text me. I'll be replying first thing in the morning. With that said, ace the ASVAB, guys. I love y'all. Keep it easy. Let's ace it. Take care.